Hey there, Screamers. Welcome back to Sleepy Screams, where the shadows don't just hide, they reach out and grab you. I'm your host, Sleepy Screamer, and tonight, we're not spinning some ghost story from the woods. No, this one's real, ripped from the pages of history, stained with secrets and screams. We're diving into the MK Ultra experiments, mind control, CIA shadows, and people broken into pieces they couldn't put back together. This is The Voices They Planted, and it's gonna crawl inside your head and stay there. So lock the door, turn down the lights, and let's step into the dark corners of the human mind. Ready? Here we go. The Voices They Planted. My name's Danny Cole, or at least that's what I'm calling myself tonight. I don't know if it's real anymore. Names start to feel slippery when you dig into something like this. I'm sitting here in a beat-up trailer on the edge of nowhere, scribbling this down because the walls feel like they're listening. This isn't some campfire yarn. It happened back in the 50s and 60s, when the CIA decided the human brain was a lock they could pick. They called it MK Ultra, and what they did, well, it's the kind of thing that makes you wonder who's really driving your thoughts. It started after the war, Cold War that is, when the suits in Washington got spooked. Russia, China, they were messing with hypnosis, drugs, ways to twist a man's mind until he'd spill secrets or pull a trigger without blinking. The CIA didn't want to be left behind. So in 1953, a guy named Sidney Gottlieb, skinny, quiet, with glasses that caught the light wrong, got the green light. Project MK Ultra cracked the skull open, not with a hammer, but with chemicals, shocks, and words that stick like tar. They wanted soldiers who'd obey, spies who'd forget, people who'd break and not know why. They didn't ask permission. They picked folks nobody'd miss. Vets, drifters, junkies, folks locked up in psych wards, prisons, hospitals, even college kids looking for a quick buck. They were all fair game. Over 80 places got roped in. Universities, clinics, secret labs with concrete walls and no windows. Gottlieb ran it like a ghost. Files burned when they were done, but enough leaked out to piece it together. And Screamers, it's uglier than you think. Take Frank Olson. He was one of their own. A scientist, worked on germ warfare, family man with a wife and 3 kids. November 1953, they dosed him at a retreat in Maryland. LSD slipped into his drink. No warning. Frank didn't know why the room started melting, why the trees outside screamed at him. He went home, but the voices didn't stop. Whispers telling him he was nothing, that his hands were bloody. 9 days later, he jumped or got pushed out a 10th floor window in New York. Cops called it suicide. The CIA said, "Oops, bad trip." Years later, his family dug up the truth. His skull was cracked before he fell. Someone shut him up. Then there's the Montreal experiments. McGill University, up in Canada. Place looks like a castle, all stone and secrets. Dr. Ewan Cameron ran the show there, a big shot shrink with a soft voice and dead eyes. He called it psychic driving. They'd grab patients, folks with depression, anxiety, nothing heavy, and strap them down. Barbiturates to knock them out, then electroshocks, hundreds of volts, frying their brains until they forgot their own names. That wasn't the worst part. Cameron taped messages, hours, days of, "You're worthless, you're broken," played on loop through headphones while they slept. He'd wake them with more LSD, more shocks, until they weren't people anymore. Just shells, babbling, staring at walls. One woman, Rita, she checked in for panic attacks in 57. Left in 60, didn't know her kids, didn't know herself. Her husband said she'd sit by the window, muttering the same words. I'm not here, I'm not here. Another guy, Paul, came back from Cameron's lab with no memory, just a hum in his head, like a radio stuck between stations. He'd claw at his ears till they bled, trying to get it out. They didn't fix minds, screamers. They smashed them and planted seeds in the cracks. The CIA didn't stop there. Operation Midnight Climax. Sounds like a bad movie, but it was real. San Francisco, 55 to 65. They set up houses, brothels really, wired with mics and two-way mirrors. Agents like George White, a bull of a man with a taste for bourbon, ran it. They dosed Johns with LSD, watched them stumble, scream, claw at the walls while hookers laughed. White wrote in his diary, "Fun night. Guy thought his hands were snakes." Fun for him, maybe. Not for the ones who jumped off roofs or vanished into alleys. Minds shredded. They tested everything. Acid, mescaline, hypnosis, sensory deprivation. Tanks of black water, no light, no sound. For days, people came out babbling about shadows that talked. One file, declassified later, mentioned Subproject 68, electrodes in the brain, jolts timed to voices. A vet in Kentucky, 1963, got that treatment. Came home, shot his dog, said it told him to. His wife found him rocking in the dark, muttering, "They're still in there." Who's they? The CIA or something else. Here's where it gets under my skin, screamers. They didn't just break people. They lost control. Gottlieb's notes, ones they didn't burn, talk about unintended effects. Subjects hearing things weeks later, seeing faces in mirrors that weren't theirs. A nurse in Virginia, 1959, got dosed in a hospital study. Quit after she saw her reflection smile when she didn't. Said it whispered her name. Kept whispering, even when she smashed the glass. Was it the drugs? Or did they crack something open? Something that stuck around? I think about that sitting here. The trailer's quiet, but the static on my radio's been humming all night. Low, steady, like it's trying to say something. MK Ultra shut down, they say, in 73. Files shredded, Gottlieb dead, case closed. But thousands got lost in it. Tens of thousands, maybe. Names erased. Lives turned to ash. And the ones who came back, they brought something with them. I hear it sometimes, late at night. A voice, not mine, soft and close. You're not alone, it says. I checked the locks, but it's not outside. Imagine it, screamers. You're walking down your street, past folks sipping coffee, smiling at dogs. How many got caught in that net? How many heads got rewired, voices planted deep? That guy twitching at the bus stop, muttering, crazy, or a leftover. The CIA won't say. They're still out there, suits and shadows, watching us watch them. And me. I keep the lights on now. The hum's louder tonight. Maybe it's the radio. Maybe it's not. There it is, screamers. The voices they planted. A true nightmare from the CIA's own playbook. MK Ultra didn't just mess with minds. It tore them apart and left echoes we're still hearing. Did it chill you to the core? I hope so. It's real, and it's closer than you think. If you're still with me, smash that subscribe button right now for more dark truths on Sleepy Screams. Hit the bell. Don't let the shadows sneak up on you. Drop a comment. Ever hear a voice that wasn't yours? I'm listening. Sleep easy, if you can. This is Host, signing off. But keep an ear out tonight. That hum in the dark might not be the wind. See you next time, Screamers.